ओए, आवाज आ रही?
यप
और मैं दिख रही?
यप
और अगर टैब चेंज करा तो ऐसे वीडियो दिख रही?
हाँ दिख जाएगी।
हाँ ठीक है, मैं स्क्रिप्ट से ही पढ़ूंगी, मैंने रटा नहीं है और गांड फट रही। भाई चुपचाप तेरे को करने देना चाहिए था काम। हाँ
रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन है।
सॉरी। Hello everyone. Greetings from the Office of Career Services IIT Delhi. I am Rutuja Shirke, a CTM at OCS IIT Delhi. I would like to welcome you all to this session. OCS at IIT Delhi has planned a workshop for all the incoming third year rights, and we have their sights set on securing an internship through OCS in the upcoming internship session. I'm really excited to announce that we have Isha ma'am, Sanat sir, Pranjali ma'am, and Tushar sir. They had gone through the similar process and bagged an intern in their third year. They'll be taking a session of 10 minutes each, guiding us through their experiences and journey. And after that, we'll have a question and answer session in the end. You can put your questions in the bottom right corner in the question and answer box. So without further delay, I would like to call upon Isha ma'am, who has bagged an intern at Accenture Solutions Private Limited as a consulting associate. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We would like to hear it from you. Over to you.
Hello, you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so hi guys. I might not be able to switch on my video for now, but I'll do it at some because I'm on my mobile data. Um, okay, so how you guys doing first of all? How is everyone? I'm
We are doing great, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good as well. Thank you, OCS, for organizing this session. I think it's important to tell your juniors since their intern session is starting soon. Okay, so jumping to the topic, I'd like to talk about a few things about what consulting actually is, and then about my experience. So I'm in the third week of my internship right now. So a little about consulting. Okay, I'd like to ask you guys first from the audience. What do you guys think consulting is about? I mean, what the image they give you in college is, flamboyant lifestyle and all of that. But what do you guys think consulting is about? Could someone just speak up?
Actually, the mics are disabled for the participants, ma'am.
Acha, okay,
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. I'll talk about it. So, what you basically do, or what you're expected to do in consulting, is solve problems for your client. So, the problems could be of any kind. Say, I have a budget of, maybe 50 crores or something, and the client wants to decide if he needs to invest in a specific area or whatever problem the client has. Um, so maybe they don't have a specific structure in their team, or whatever issues they have, they come to you, and then you define a structure for them. So that's at a very basic level, that is what consultants do. We define a structure. We frame out a problem. In a lot of cases, even the problem statement. So that's what they say when you talk about solving cases, right? You first define the problem, so you give a structure to the problem, and then you try to find all of the areas for the solutions that you're giving, and then in a very structured manner, you start giving out solutions. So, specifically talking about my firm, I'm from Accenture, and we're a front-end consulting firm. That is, we directly interact with the client and give them provide them with solutions. So I cannot reveal my client, but I'm working for a cement company that's entering the paints market. So what we're doing here is, so I'll just talk about how my experience has been for the past 2 weeks. So in my first week, I was just being introduced to what the problem is about, and so we're entering the paints market, and for the past 3 months, we have launched a pilot in 5 districts, and our role right now is to help the client set up. So it's an end-to-end process, right? We start from the strategy and the design of which district. We tell the client which geographies that they have to enter in. We do a lot of research on. So paints is a business that's been running for a lot of years, right? There's not a lot of scope for innovation, but that's what our job is, to find blind spots or to find areas that have not been covered, and exploit them basically to set up to expand our business. So that's what we're doing. And so we decide on the pricing, we decide on the implementation. I can tell you about something that I've been working on recently. So in the B2C sector, we're looking for a customer pitch in the B2C sector, and for that we basically divided the divided the audience, into households, because it's a household that buys a paint, not a single person. You or me don't buy paint. A house buys paint. So we've divided the entire audience into 10 categories. If I ask you to divide an audience into categories, you'd probably just say urban, rural, or yeah, urban or rural. But we've divided into 10 categories on the basis of income, on the basis of age, on the basis of whether they're living in an urban area or a semi-urban area. And then we've developed a story around each of those households. We've called them personas, and we've developed a story around each of those households. And these stories are what are going to be used as customer pitches. Okay, so for example, in a Cadbury's ad, you see how how they have moments, right? They create moments between a brother and a sister, or they create moments between a dad and a daughter. So like that, we need customer pitches. So we've developed stories around each of those households. So that's what I'm currently working on, and we're ideating on how our customer pitch should look like, or how our retailer pitch should look like. So yeah, this is what my experience has been so far. I'm also working on this contest that we hold for retailers, and we track their we track their sales, and then we provide them with cash rewards on the basis of how well they've done over the past month. And yeah, these are a couple of things that I've been working on. So yeah, I think that's all from my side. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experiences and journey. There'll be a question and answer session at the end of this session.
Yeah, sure. I'll be.
Okay. So next, I would like to invite our next panelist, Sanat sir, who's interning at Bain and Company as an associate consultant to share their journey. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Over to you.
Sanat sir is in another meet right now. Please, Tushar sir, can you go right now?
Um, okay, sure.
Take over.
So we'll continue with our next panelist, Tushar sir, who is backed an intern at Boston Consulting Group as a summer associate. So I would like to call him to share his experience and journey. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Over to you.
Thanks, Rituja. Hi guys, I'm Tushar. I am in chemical engineering department, and I think last year during this process, I got an intern at BCG. Uh, I think Isha has given you a good introduction, a very good introduction of about what consulting is. Uh, I think in the next
Sorry to
10 minutes,
interrupt
I'll
you,
just
sir, but could you please just switch on your video? It would be very better.
yeah, I can't do so because I'm traveling back to my hotel.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
So the lighting is. I'm sorry. I think you guys must have gotten a little glimpse of the consulting lifestyle, given that nearly all panelists might be in cabs or meets. Uh, yeah. So I think in the next 10 minutes, I'll just tell you guys about my experience and a little about my case, and then maybe we could go on about the selection process and consulting in general. So starting with my experience, I am working for a construction company, uh, and my firm's goal is to reduce the total time of construction for the developer. So we are looking at innovative construction technologies all around the world. Since BCG is a global firm, so we often call experts from across anywhere, maybe Middle East, China, Malaysia. So we we bring in those experts to look at technologies that could be implemented in India to increase the rate of construction that is like currently the market standard. So why we are very focused on reducing the time for construction is because this is how large capex projects work. Large capex refers to when there's a lot of involved in your project, and it's something that takes a lot of time. So, like constructing buildings or maybe railway infrastructure, something like this, which involves a lot of influx of funds to bring in physical or even virtual assets. So, when you get into a large capex process, it's two things are very important, which is first your return, and second the time in which you get your return. Simply because of the fact that let's say we complete this project in 6 years, you get an overall 30% for this 3 year period. While if we complete this in 6 years, you get a 30% return uh, for these 6 years. So obviously your rate of return is nearly half for the whole process. And so we're looking at the financials of the project, and we are building an NPV model, which if you guys are in chemical engineering, you will learn about in your sixth semester. It's all about the money that any money today is worth less tomorrow, and hence we have to look at by where when we increase the cost X and decrease time by, when is it more feasible for us to go on and increase that cost and hence have a lower and hence have a higher rate of return and a lower cost in future terms. I think this might be a little tough, like in these 2 to 3 minutes to grasp this in 2 to 3 minutes. But I think basically it's all about like making the right cost increments to decrease the overall time for the project. So I think talking about my experience, I would say today was my hectic day that I'm going back so late. I usually reach back by 8:30. Uh, I think I'm working somewhere around 8 to 10 hours every day, and I think it's been a good experience. My team has been a very like a lot supportive. So in BCG, when you go, so every case has a project leader, and since you're an intern, you have a cover for you, who sorts of helps you with the process of completing your work task and everything. And I feel this helps you. This gives you a very important support that is required to exist in this environment, given that you're only here for two months. Have you been here for 1 year or something, you could figure out things a lot and then work on your own. But I think this is something that is often unique to BCG, that they offer you a cover and they help you in the process of your throughout your intern. Apart from the buddy process and everything, I think this helps you intermix with the team better. Talking about the selection process, so it's a two-stage process, which is first a shortlist based on your CV, and second is your case interviews. So I'll first talk about CV shortlist. So as far as I know, and from everyone that I have heard, and these are people who got into consult in the last 3 4 years from IT Delhi. They see your CV on 5 parameters, which could be CGPA, scholastic achievements, extracurricular activities, positions of responsibility POS, and internships. So usually these are the 5 sections that they look at, and they rank you out of 10 in each of these. Uh, Obviously, someone getting a 9 or 10 in 3 or 4 sections usually gets shortlisted. And after that, they shortlist you and they start with the case interview process. So for shortlisting, I think last year you can just take the number of vacancies and multiply it by 3 or 3.5. That is how many people they'll probably shortlist uh, in your process. And I think shortlisting is the process that's the most difficult part of getting into consult. I think after that, things are a lot in your control. So make your CV right, get it vetted by as many people as possible. I would say look at good CVs, and a good CV is one that got shortlisted when that CV was put up for the job description. And yeah, I think that's it when it comes to CVs. Getting your CV vetted by people who have gotten in through this process, and I think second is looking at good CVs for inspiration. And you should focus on trying to maximize your score in all 5 of these parameters, and at least trying to bring in spikes or high scores in 3 of those parameters. So I think that's it. When it comes to, I think next comes the case study process. So here what happens is that they give you short business problems like guesstimate or profitability cases, where you're just given that problem on the spot, and in the next maybe 15 to 30, depending on the type of interview, you're supposed to solve that problem using some established frameworks that I think Ish also mentioned. So what you do is for this process, I would say ki if you're quite sure that you will get a shortlist, get started with your case practice around by 10th of July. And if you feel like 10th of July, I'm saying because from my perspective, I would say just 1 month or 1 month 10 days before the OCS day one of the internship. So I think OCS people could tell you better when is the day one and hence subtract 40 days from it. So I would say if you're quite sure you should start then, or else when you get your shortlist, or maybe when you submit your CV, you should start then if you're not that quite sure ki you will get a shortlist. So for that, you can go to YouTube and search for a YouTube channel called Case Interviews Cracked. So they have, I think, 4 or 5 videos like playlist, which you should look at the start of your process. Then there is a published by those guys, the YouTube guys. You can find it very easily on Google. It's called Case Interview Cracked, and you could go on and practice from that book. I think those guys will tell you everything that is required for this case interview process if you look at those videos quite properly and just find someone who's also interested in consult and is preparing for case interviews to practice with. So the process is, like I said, look at those videos, get those books, and then find someone to practice with, and like you can each give each other one case and practice with each other. So I think that is for the case process. I think apart from that, you're allotted a buddy during this case process. So a person from the firm who's probably from the same college as you is allotted to you, and they come in and do these case practices with you. And sometimes they're evaluative, sometimes they're not. So I think you could make this clear with your buddy how this process is going on. And so I think it's important during the buddy process that you show your interest as to why you want to get into the consult and show some merit in your how you do your cases and hence start early with the case process. So I think that's it. Apart from experience in this selection process, if there are any questions, you can ping me at the doubt session. Yeah, thanks, Utuja.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such great insights. It would benefit us all. Next, I would like to invite our panelist, Pranjali ma'am, who's interning at Nomura Research Institute Consulting and Solution Private Limited as an associate consultant to share her journey. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Could you please switch on your video if possible?
Sure. Yeah. I'm visible, right? I'm visible, right?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So hello everyone. I am Pranjali. I'm currently interning at Namura Research Institute at Sedway Rutuja. So at Namura, I am I'll take you through my journey at Namura, like these 3 weeks at Namura, and then I'll also take you through my internship selection process as well. So at Nomura, I'm currently working on a project on sustainability. Basically, at Nomura, there are the interns have been divided into 3 groups. Some of them are working on automotive industry, some of them are working on investment strategies, and I am working on sustainability. So here I have to calculate the decarbonization potential of Singapore. So I have to look at various industries of energy application where biofuels can be introduced to actually reduce the carbon emissions in Singapore. So yeah, I also have to build a model around it to actually calculate the decarbonization potential. So yeah, I have to look at various industries. I'm looking at power industry as well as transport and oil refineries as well. Uh, so these are the industries I'm looking at. So yeah, here at in consulting, you uh, you get to work on a lot of industries, and the work doesn't get much monotonous since you're working on different projects and different industries. You get to know more, you get to learn every day. So yeah, this is my experience here at Namura. Uh, the working hours are very surprisingly quite chill at Namura. I get back home by 7 max. Uh, yeah, which is unlike what consult companies are. Yeah, so now taking through my internship selection process. So yeah, I started the case preparation after my CV shortlist, but CV making process is the most important process here in consulting. I guess Tushar framed it very well, how to prepare your CV and everything. Uh, it is very important that you uh, ask as many seniors as possible for their CVs to look at. And it is also important that you uh, give your CV to seniors to correct them. And yeah, also for the case preparation, case interview cracked is the best thing to start with. Uh, for the if I talk about Namura specifically, my interview was quite different from other people's interview. For some reason, I was asked a puzzle instead of a guesstimate or a case. So yeah, it is important that you have analytical skills as well. So I was preparing for analytics as well. So that is why I could actually crack that puzzle. But I guess someone with good analytical skills can crack it without any preparation. So that was my experience during the internship process. And yeah, so for the cases, you can refer to case interview craft, and you should also go to your seniors who have prepared for consulting to solve cases with them. You can form groups among yourselves. You can talk to your friends who are preparing for consulting, and you can solve cases amongst yourself as well. uh, uh, Rest, I guess, Tushar explained the cases and CV very well. So, yeah, if you have any further questions, we can take it up in the round session. Thank you. Rituja, can you take it up, please?
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and sharing such great insights. It will really help us in our preparation. So we have Sanat sir with us. As I mentioned earlier, he is interning at Bain and Company as a consulting associate. So a very warm welcome to you, sir. I would like to invite you to share your journey. Over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. So sorry I got a bit late. Yeah, so just I think from what I could gather from what Pranjali was telling you guys about. Also, sorry for the background disturbance. There's some work going on. I hope you're able to hear me clearly. Koi just someone tell me,
Oh,
Rutuja, is it clear now?
yeah, we are able to hear you, sir. No problem at all.
Yeah, cool. So see, I'll guess Abhidak, like Tushar, Isha, and Pranjali must have given you a general outlook as to how do you go about preparing for like consulting and all. Being specific, if I have to tell you, like, matlab, I would just give you one फंडा कि मतलब cases में mainly तुम्हारा market entry इतना ज़्यादा नहीं आएगा. Look for it towards the last, like after you have done a good amount of profitability in guesstimate cases. And in general, also try to practice some unconventional cases वो CIC में भी दिए होंगे and other places also. Start by doing cases like go to your +1 and +2 seniors after a while, like सीधा मत जाना whenever you're doing your cases and practicing in general also. And like after I've told you about Bain specific, I'll give you some general pointers when you're preparing for consult, right? A lot of people like focus on their CV to a very huge extent कि मतलब CV पे बहुत time लगा रहे हैं. Have a general CV outline in your mind right now. Know what your main things are. Know what your like CV के अंदर, let's say for a consult CV, you'll have projects, या फिर you will have your interns, you will have POs, ECAs, calls होंगे. Just know what your strengths are going to be. See if you can work on some things जो अभी नहीं है, like ECS में कोई है तो like you can probably do case comps in छुट्टियों के अंदर. you can do some other things, calls के लिए you can do some courses and all of those things. Just like see, you can like get your CV reviewed by some seniors abhi bhi, and just understand from them कि अगर if there are some pointers you can improve on. After a point when you know कि मतलब अब CV में कुछ I can do a lot of ऐसी चीजें, CV formatting पे put in like एक या दो दिन max to max. Don't focus a lot. Lot of seniors gave me this tip last year कि CV पे don't put in a lot of pressure. एक point क्या, just focus on your cases. ठीक है, so this is a similar thing. CV एक point क्या, if you know कि हाँ आप decent है, just work on the formatting, which is important. Again, you'll obviously come to your seniors for CV formatting and all of those things. So just focus on that. नेक्स्ट उसके अलावा लाइक प्रांजलि वाज सेइंग उसको इंटरव्यू के अंदर शी गॉट अ पजल, तो दैट इज वेरी वेरी पॉसिबल कि लाइक जो तुम्हारा पार्टनर जो केस ले रहा है, दे गिव यू समथिंग व्हिच इज टेस्ट योर स्ट्रक्चरल थिंकिंग या लॉजिकल थिंकिंग, राइट? So like whenever you're looking at those things, cases can be very random. Like I did a case which was very 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 random. We can discuss that. अगर किसी को डाउट सेशन के अंदर you can, we can all discuss that. But like just giving you some context कि it was about like a company's profitability increased because they started recycling bottles. I was able to get to the end of this case because मैं बहुत ज़्यादा structure में गया. You learn these things when you're preparing for consult and all. You start to see all of those things like how do you break down a case into a structure, guesstimates, start with guesstimates first, then go to profitability. All of the structured thinking ना unconventional cases में भी help करता है. There's a thing called a MECE approach, I guess बताया होगा किसी ने. So that MECE approach is basically mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. कि you've covered all things that can come under one bucket, right? So focus on those things so that you're able to, your structural thinking is good and you're able to logically think out any problem you are in, right? Matlab, I have done a case wherein it was said ki I like your client is a the father of a 11th year 11th class child. How would you suggest they go about their joining a coaching for their daughter? This was a proper case that I did during my practice sessions, right? So this tests your logical thinking कि तुम किसी भी सिचुएशन में कैसे सोच पाते हो, right? Another thing is like Pranjali suggested CIC, that's very good. See those videos on YouTube, you'll get them easily. If you want, you can hit me up. I have resources जो last year मैंने use करी थी. I can send them on WhatsApp. CIC के अलावा there's a book called Guesstimates in the Indian Context. There's a case compendium day one. After CIC, I would suggest do those guesstimates. Guesstimates in the Indian market करके एक book है. Then you can move on to case compendium. That's a decent book. इफ यू गेट टाइम तो डे वन कर लेना, बट आई वुड से कि काफी होता है इंटर्न के टाइम पे अगर सीआईसी कर लिया अच्छे से, एंड यू डन सम मोर एस्टिमेट, सीनियर्स भी केसेस कराएंगे जो उन्होंने करे थे, सो दैट्स वेरी वेरी हेल्पफुल इन जनरल. एंड केसेस लाइक जस्ट सजेस्टिंग एक दो खुद से देख लेना, मैक्स टू मैक्स एक दो, वो भी सैंपल केसेस देखने की कोशिश करना. डोंट वेस्ट द केसेस. वेस्टिंग इन द सेंस कि लाइक यू नो लाइक केस सॉल्विंग के अंदर इट्स अ टू वे प्रोसेस. लाइक एक बंदा केस करता है, इंटरव्यू बनता है, एंड द अदर पर्सन इज लाइक in solving the case. So don't read the cases and then like it's wasted for you, right? You know the approach and all of those things. So always try to form groups. One thing you can do is you can request your other non-consult friends कि तू मुझे ये केस करवा दे, just help me with this case, just read up on that. Or what you can do is like divide कर लिया अपने बीच में cases. एक केस तुम्हारा एक सीनियर करवा रहा है, एक केस दूसरा सीनियर करवा रहा है, right? So like sorry, एक case तुम you're getting your friend to do it, and the other case your friend is getting you to do it, right? So other than that, I guess these are the major pointers. Anything like you want me to like acha, anything else you guys want me to cover? बताओ तुझे, like anything there was you think I should cover or
So we'll
something?
have a question and answer session after this. So they'll ask them, they'll ask their
ठीक है.
doubts.
चलो
So
cool.
thank you so much for sharing your valuable suggestions. They'll definitely help us. Now we should start with the question and answer session. So guys, start putting up your questions in the question and answer box so that the panelists will address them for you. Do we have any questions? I guess we'll just wait for 2 minutes for people to post their questions. Yeah, so we have a question. How much of a role does CGPA play? And is there a general CGPA cutoff during CV shortlisting? That's asked by Sanskriti Jain. Anyone would like to take up the
Sure,
question?
I'll answer. मतलब
Yeah.
honestly, it's dynamic. मतलब एक basic, एक very basic सा cutoff, if I would say, is at least aim for like 7.5. Uh, honestly, ये भी थोड़ा डायनेमिक होता है. If you excel in other places, 7.5 से नीचे भी वो ले लेते हैं. ऐसा कुछ वो नहीं है. But हाँ, if you are in a bit lower branch, तो थोड़ा सा difficult होता है at a lower CG. But like थोड़ी like E type branches में it's okay even if you have a lower CG. So it does play a role. Honestly, CG is the first thing that they see. Those people see, that's one of the first things. So you should, मतलब like CV, if I would have to say, it plays a role, a soft role that way. And CG results in rating in the sense, यार CG नहीं result करती है rating के अंदर. There are like sections में CG नहीं होती है. School is a section. So your overall scholastic achievements are is a section that is rated.
Okay. And
नहीं नहीं
what were results?
मतलब they might see और CG थोड़ा तो मतलब वही है again everything that I said कि मतलब out of 10 rate and all होता है तो there are two ways मतलब या तो as a spike count कर लिया या CG को ऐसे rate कर लिया तो obviously मतलब I think Sanat said 7.5 I think हाँ उसके ऊपर you will get a decent score in your CGPA section. If मतलब again every year it's a different person shortlisting so everyone has a go but from my experience मतलब CGPA is important वहाँ पे तो
Like हमारे year में they didn't put in a CG bar. A lot of companies do. हो सकता है तुम्हारे year पे भी इन्होंने डाले हैं, but in their mind they have a CG bar, so to say. कि like honestly 7.1, 7.15, 7.2 के close है तो ऐसे like MBB से don't expect a shortlist unless and until you have like your other sections are very very good.
We have a similar question along this line. Akshit Bansal says, Tushar mentioned every section getting rated out of 10. In the CG section, what CG results in what rating out of 10?
मतलब I think you will get मतलब ऐसे कोई perfect scale तो नहीं है it's up to the person who's shortlisting but I would say a CG above 8.5 would get you I think 9 or 10 very easily. I think somewhere around a 7.5 might get you a 8 and somewhere around 8 you might get a 8 or 9 depending on the person who's shortlisting. But again, matlab, a 7.5 is often important for you to crack MDB shortlist.
Okay. So Pranjali ma'am mentioned that a puzzle was asked in her interview of Numra. So could any of you just tell another such experience or any special tips during the interview process? Anybody would like to take up this question among the
Yeah,
panel?
matlab, as I gave that example, as like that case wherein you are counseling a father for admission in coaching, that is a very weird case for a lot of people. So puzzle to nahi, it's not like I've come across a puzzle, but हाँ, there are a lot of unconventional cases that they can ask you. Don't think कि मतलब हमेशा ही structure से ऐसे focus करेंगे and all.
Okay. Any other
मतलब usual cases नहीं होते. मतलब even my partner case was very different and very unconventional. So when you're doing cases, starting में तो just think through the structure that you're taught through these through these YouTube videos and books. But at the end of the process, just start thinking in unconventional ways using a structured framework.
Okay, thank you so much. Divyansh Agarwal says, could you please repeat the name of the books that you mentioned? All of the books that were mentioned. Okay. So Sanat sir has already typed it in the chat box. Any other questions, guys? Or else we'll wrap up the session. Okay, are there any topics asked apart from the case study questions in the interview? Ishita Jain asks.
So there's an HR round as well. So they ask you as HR questions. They try to get to know you well. They actually want to see your learning ability. Basically, since there are a lot of industries that you have to study, you have to learn every day. So that is what they're looking for. So in fact in the CV as well, they're looking for your learning ability. So when your CGPA is good, when your PORs and ECAs are good, they showcase you have a good learning ability and you can actually learn at a very fast rate. So that is what uh, they ask you questions on similar lines as well to get to know you better and how good you can do.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Divyang Jaiswal asks, can you please brief the flow of the interview? What other sort of questions are asked other than cases? I guess she's already covered the question. Shikhar Ati asks, is there any chances of lower tier consulting firms having their CG bar 7 or lower than 7?
So honestly, I don't think so कि मतलब lower tier के अंदर 7 marks होगा, 7 से नीचे it's very honestly it's very unlikely कि shortlisting होगी consult में. Sorry to be the one to break the bubble, but that is true. And also like case, like if I would say flow of the interviews, it's very dependent on the person who's taking your case. Like currently I had a puzzle, someone has a very generic profitability case, someone has cases जो बहुत similar होते हैं to what you've done earlier. So it's in general ऐसा होगा कि you'll go, they'll get to know you, they'll ask you एक दो चीजें, then they'll ask you straight away about the case कि can you do a case for me. Like BCG में last year there were people who did two or three rounds of different cases of different difficulties. I for myself had like just one case, and like for my interview I just had one case in that. Actually that was a guesstimate only. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, guys? I guess there are no any other questions. So we'll wrap up the session. Thank you so much to all the panel members for joining us today and taking out some time from your busy schedule. We surely got to learn a lot about the preparation process. Thank you so much, everybody. I guess we'll end the session. Okay, we have a question. Can you give some more CV tips about how to properly present PORs and ECAs?
यार some generic tips. PORs, अगर तुम्हारे पास किसी एक like you had a hostel POR and then Like let's say third year POs obviously सबसे ऊपर जाएंगी. If you had a hostel POR and then you were like a third year Seki up, तो put that in like QC rep थे और QC Seki बन गए या किसी और club के rep थे और Seki बन गए. So just put it into a flow कि you were this and then you're that in the same flow. That shows growth and मतलब stability in a sense. That's a good thing. If you have different वो honestly like अगर सिर्फ second year POs या third year PO नहीं है तो hostel rep या RCA rep then I would put like किसी भी club का वो and then उसके बाद I would put in the pegging order then I would put a activity head in a like Trist या फिर RDV. This is like the order in general a lot of people will follow in their POR section. ECS के अंदर I guess सबसे ऊपर वो section just put in that section which has the maximum amount of your achievements. Also it is a good practice to like you can like just club a lot of things if you want. Like a lot of people put in different kinds of competitions into B plan competitions ka group, different types of lit events, quizzing events into a similar section. And also like just know what your strengths are. मतलब some people have their strength in having a varied CV की मतलब उनके ECS बहुत varied है, बहुत सारी जगहों पर उन्होंने part लिया और उनके ECS हैं. कुछ people have like एक जगह पर हैं या एक दो जगह पर हैं उधर ही उन्होंने किया हुआ है. So just know your strengths, what your strengths are and play on them. Like ऐसे मत करो कि ज्यादा diversity के लिए I'll just remove. अगर let's say you have a lot of म्यूजिक ECS तो जस्ट फॉर डाइवर्सिटी डोंट पुट इन कि मतलब कुछ रैंडम सा ECA छोटा सा डाल देता हूँ जस्ट फॉर डाइवर्सिटी. इट्स ओके टू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ म्यूजिक ECS एज वेल. दिस शोज यू आर एक्चुअली लाइक तुम उसके अंदर मचा रहे हो इफ आई वुड हैव टू से ऐसे.
And second part is, matlab, just look at good CVs. As I said, ki the CVs who were shortlisted past years mein. That is the best way to learn how to make your CV.
Also, चीजें क्वांटिफाई करना इज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. मैंने ऑब्जर्व करा, लाइक इफ यू हाईलाइट नंबर्स अपने सीवी में, तो दैट एक्चुअली हेल्प्स, क्योंकि इट गिव्स द पर्सन हु इज शॉर्टलिस्टिंग यू अ पैरामीटर टू जज ऑन. क्योंकि अगर बहुत क्वालिटेटिव चीजें रही तो जज करने में थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है, इंटरप्रेट गलत हो सकता है. बट इफ देयर आर नंबर्स ऑन योर सीवी, so that actually helps in shortlisting as well. So yeah, वो भी एक incorporate कर सकते हो तुम लोग सीवी में.
Okay. Also, there's a question: where could we? Okay, where would any of the panelists be comfortable presenting your CVs?
You guys can text us. Actually, we can share our CVs with you. Presenting it won't be good.
Okay.
You can ask us directly.
Sure, will do. Any other questions, guys? You can even just switch on your mics and directly ask your questions if you want. We'll wait for 2 more minutes for any other questions, or else we'll wrap up the meet. So I think we have covered all of the questions. So to all the panel members, Pranjali ma'am, Sanat sir, Tushar sir, Isha ma'am, thank you so much for devoting your time for this session. It was surely helpful for all of us. And with that note, we'll end this session today. Thank you so much.
All the best, everyone.
All the best, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.